So our Prime Minister had given a small goal saying that India will be carbon neutral, I think by 2070.
Yeah.
Do you think we are close to achieving that target?
As I already said, in COP28, many organizations already took a pledge about planting millions of trees to make their organization carbon neutral.
So to make this podcast carbon neutral, one tree is all we need to do to plant just to get this whole podcast made carbon neutral.
Yes.
You mentioned a word called, I think, the
Miyawaki. Yeah.
So can you explain what is Miyawaki and what are the different other techniques that we can use?
Yes, this technique is conceptualized by Japanese botanist Dr. Miyawaki. It's a revolutionary approach for afforestation, and in that we are planting say 3 to 5 trees in the 1 square meter area. When we are planting those trees very close, they are tend to grow 10 times faster and 30 times denser.
If we talk about Vastu, generally Vastu just means, in layman's terms, living in harmony with your environment.
Yes.
Which is something that we are not doing.
If you took any of your Veda, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, everybody says something about the tea. उस टाइम पे हमको ये समझ में आता है कि if everything is related to dham, ये पूजनीय है, so just don't cut it or don't do anything to that.
Our scriptures also mention so many things about the importance of plants, etc. What other examples from ancient India?
There is one more tree which is called Krishna Kamal. So Krishna Kamal जो होता है, it's a, if you can see on net, it's a very beautiful blue flower. So उसमें क्या होता है, नीचे 100 petals होते हैं, and that all 100 petals resembles to 100 korvas.
Namaste and welcome to this episode of the Oddcast Show. There's a lot of odd stuff going on this planet. Carbon footprint, carbon neutrality. There's so many things that we talk about, but what is it exactly? How does one measure the carbon output per person or per nation? How do you negate it? What are the options? What are we doing in India versus the West? Most of you must have seen that climate change is real. Most of you may be seeing these reels and videos of climate change activists across the world who chain themselves to highways, etc. They tie themselves up, they lie down, they don't let any traffic go, but they're not giving us a solution. What do we do to reduce our carbon footprint? What can we do to negate those emissions that we've already produced? Well, we have someone on the show today who's very interesting, who has found a solution for this. Her name is Nidhi Singh. She's from Pune and she has various initiatives. One of them that caught our eye was an initiative called Plant Billion Trees. And her way of negating carbon emissions is to plant as many trees as we can. And we're going to get into this episode with her as to why this route, what are the other options to negate carbon emissions, what is going on in India versus the world. And Nidhi ji, welcome to the show. Namaste.
Namaste.
I hope you're okay.
Yes.
You planted a lot of trees today also?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I want to understand that what made you get into this love of plants in the first place? Like, where does it come from?
Okay, so if I clearly remember, my mother was a passionate lover. Yeah, she is still. So when we are small and I was at home, our small home has more than 100 plus plants. And at that time, of course, plant तो बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं देखने में, flowers are good enough, but she used to involve us कि नहीं, you have to do weed remover and all those activity with you, and she always told us कि there are micronutrients in soil and that is good for your immunity, and it gives it boosts your health and it gives you a happiness. Even if you go by the thing कि we humans are made of those things कि हम nature में जाके हमेशा अच्छा ही feel करते हैं, because our DNA and genetics are like that.
Right.
So this was, she taught us and I really feel it. But after that, of course, I was busy with my life, studying and all. But in 2014, when I had my own house and I was setting up my terrace garden. So in Pune only. So at that time, when I realized, and I have a little bit of knowledge, of course, from my mother, but still I didn't know कि मैंने कहीं गई और एक अच्छा सा plant देखा. I didn't know कि अभी मैं इसको ढूंढूं कैसे, what is the name, where should I find it, and how I'll take care of it अगर मैं उसको लेके भी आई हूँ. So I did a research. And
there was a big gap in the
Yes, so I did a research also. मैंने अपने दोस्तों को भी पूछा, and to my surprise, if you ask me just name the 5 plants, most of them were not able to do at 10 years back. So And then somehow we founded the good nursery. Like we are blessed in Pune, and that is one of the main region in India जहाँ पे ऐसे 4-5 रीजन ही हैं जहाँ पे plants उगते हैं. बाकी हर जगह they got transported because here are the climate condition in that way जहाँ पे कि आपके decorative plants and they grow and they sprout. So I went to the nurseries, and to my belief, it was something like I can't see beyond my eyes whole through nurseries, and beautiful flowers and all those things are there. So there are people who are growing that, farmers are doing their things and all, but there is a big gap. हमको पता नहीं है वहां पर अवेलेबल है. So then we launched the initiative NurseryLive.com with my co-founders Nidhi Singh and Satyendra Kumar in 2014, and we started with building a community and the awareness surrounding this setting up a terrace garden, because it's not so easy. Like it's look like, but it's not. You know the better know-how, you know how to use the tools, you know everything about that plant. It's like taking care of a baby, small baby, and for different species the SOPs are different. It's like that. So then we started that platform, and where we are helping the garden lovers to build their beautiful gardens, and we are helping them with the knowledge, we are helping them with the equipments, all gardening related accessories, the plants also. So that is a D2C platform where 6,000 plus products and services are listed, and we are supplying pan India. All of whatever things the garden lover wants.
Supplying knowledge on plants, their upkeep, their care, as well as the equipment required, and the entire SOP per species of plant. Is what
there is a care card with every plant we are dispatching to the customer. So everything is intact in place, and within last 10 years we were able to make the community of 52 lakh garden lovers with us across India. So during our tenure in NurseryLive, we were, of course, we have a good network of plant supplying and all those things in place. So there are many B2B requirements from NGOs, from corporates who are taking plants for like different initiative. One majorly is that Environment Day just happened. So like coming is World Mahotsav. It's in first week of July. So we witnessed every year we are supplying plants and the tree plantation happening on the same piece of land. So, जो last year जो लगे थे वो कहाँ गए? Employees are coming, they are doing the tree plantation, we are supplying the plants in the same piece of land. So that surprises us, and that's the point where we thought of, because तब तक हम भी ऐसे ही सोचते हैं ना कि अच्छा ठीक है हमें ना प्लांट लगाने चाहिए, हम जाते हैं प्लांट लगा देते हैं. No, it's not that. That's the point from where that responsibility start. अभी तो आपको बेबी पैदा हुआ है, अब आपको उसको बड़ा करना है, उसको ध्यान रखना है. That is the most important part. Otherwise जो हमने अब तक जो efforts किया था, that is also all waste.
You come back every Environment Day and you find out that the last year's plants are not there.
It's a plain like again वो कहाँ गए सारे, क्या हुआ? So that's the point. So we are working towards this, to make sure, starting in all those things for last 2, 3, 4 years. But officially this last June we launched this new initiative, Grow Billion Trees. So under which there is an ecosystem, tree plantation is happening, no doubt. Everybody is investing their money, time, efforts, everything is there. But we are helping organizations and individuals to manage their funds and their efforts in a better way. So every tree plant, we make sure it should survive. And we take care of this tree for at least 3 years. And initially we took 4 to 5 feet tree to make the it survive, to make the survival ratio better. And there are multiple SOPs in place. We have to take care of them. So one thing is we are making sure that every tree we plant should survive, or after 3 years the tree can take care of itself. And the second thing is we are trying to create a transparency. So whatever tree you plant, we issue a tree certificate against that, and the tree certificate holds a QR code. By scanning that QR code, you will be able to know where your tree has been planted, मतलब उसका Google location, Google Earth location, whatever species has been planted, and like will help you with the yearly audit reports by a third party that your plant is surviving, gradual updates of photograph and videos. So होता क्या है, जैसे suppose if I talk about individuals, we are living in a vertical in a city, we want to contribute, but
we don't
somehow
know
how. और फिर अगर मैंने एक प्लांट जाके लगा भी दिया तो how will maintain, how will take care. So what you can do is we can help you to do that on behalf of you. We'll plant a tree and give you all the information whenever you want. So you can go and
information is available on an app, and it's like a digital forest that you build.
So Grow Billion Tree is a kind of a D2C platform, and we have multiple products by which you can order the tree plantation thing to us. And of course every physical location, we created a digital forest for more detail. And if you're an organization, of course, we are doing it in a bulk. So, just say, abhi, like this 5th only, we did a tree plantation for group landmark in Ahmedabad. So, we created a digital forest. So, there we planted 17,000 trees with the Miyawaki technique. So, every detail is available there on that digital forest page. So, we are logging each and minute detail somewhere in the tag, and like this is the way we give you the transparency.
So basically through the QR code I can look in and see where my tree is planted.
Yes.
And what's its status.
Yes.
Has it grown well, not?
Yes. And we provide you with gradual, like yearly audit reports as well, that your tree is survival, the impact report as well.
And even if I'm just providing just one tree,
because
I'll still get that information.
Yes, still that get. For that, what we did is, because what is like एक tree plant karna, so it's not possible. So we are processing everything in batches.
Right.
So we have multiple orders from like from all over the country. Individual corporates के लिए, if it's a big order, we can create a separate space कि यहाँ पे, of course there is a big piece of land, suppose like 10 acres of kind of, तो 1 acre में इस corporate का लगा है, अगले में दूसरे का लगा है, and this is for the B2C customer. So whatever I am order having, we are just aggregating the demand and we are planting trees in batches. Say suppose 10,000 trees in one batch. So we mark that area and we create a digital forest for that space. So every user who has planted tree in that space have the scan code of that digital forest available on our website.
Understood.
So he'll be able to see.
Understood. You mentioned the Miyawaki technique of planting.
Yes.
I want to get into that, but before that I want to just take a step back. That one of the reasons you're doing this is to try and educate people about carbon emissions and to try and negate those carbon emissions.
Yes.
Now, the statistics that I have is that the per capita carbon emission per Indian is approximately 1.6 tons a year versus the global average of 4 tons a year.
4 tons, yes.
So we're better off than most countries. That's one.
Yeah.
Secondly, as I understand that there are different ways of negating carbon emissions. One of them is tree plantation.
Yes.
So what are the other ways? Like you mentioned, is there any other way that, we can, negate our carbon footprint, or is it only plant trees?
So yes, there are multiple ways. See, first I will explain you what is carbon neutrality is. So it is like we are by our daily activities. Suppose we are sitting here, I came for a meeting here, so I traveled, so I emit some carbon. So the lights are on,
you mean
the
car
camera
that you
is there.
came in emitted carbon?
The car
right?
emitted carbon. So every activity we are doing, in fact, if I am using this mug as well in this manufacturing, of course, वहाँ पे कुछ carbon emit हुआ ही होगा. So in our daily to daily activities, we are emitting some carbon. And you said that like it's already 1.4 per
1.6 tons
1.6
a year per Indian.
Per Indian. So अभी इतना carbon हम emit कर रहे हैं. And what we can do is to offset that, we can do some activity जिससे carbon sequestration हो जाए, environment से carbon remove हो जाए. So मैंने जितना टन emit किया है, अगर मैं किसी भी method से उतना ही टन remove कर पाती हूँ, that's what is carbon neutrality and carbon zero or net zero terms. Like many countries have pledged to that कि भाई like they have a target to be a net zero, or many corporates also have that pledge. So that is net zero thing. So of course, carbon sequestration के there are multiple methods. One you can do is like बहुत ही बड़े heavy container में you can just carbon dioxide जो भी आपका environment है via some technique you can fill it under and you can just dispose it underground and all. So that those are a very like highly intensive techniques, and like
so countries are using those techniques.
Yes, and there is one thing. So there are some natural ways also. So yes, one is tree plantation, and that is the easiest way we can do and we can contribute towards the environment. And as we can see in the sea and the oceans are the biggest carbon sink, because उसके अंदर जो algae होता है, that is the biggest source of carbon sequestration from the environment.
Okay.
So if we talk about trees also, yes, trees like something we can do very easily. We can contribute towards the environment. And if we talk about the in terms of the number, one tree in 1 year can sequester 20 kg of carbon dioxide. So अगर हम उसका लाइफ स्पैन अगर मान लें 20 साल का होता है, तो that can sequester 400 kg of carbon dioxide in that. Okay. So अगर एक साल में if I want to plant, so it will be somewhere around 80 trees per person to be planted.
Right. So for Indian.
Yeah, for Indian. Yeah,
so
in India.
Indian, I mean, if an Indian wants to be carbon net neutral, given the fact that his per capita carbon emission is 1.6 tons a year,
Yes.
that's 1600 kilos, and one tree negates 20
kg in a
kilos
year
of carbon in a year.
Yes.
That would be around 80 trees a
Yes,
year
80
that every Indian would have to plant.
Yes.
All
And
right.
according to the recent data, if we talk about the trees per person, it's 28 for India right now.
You mean that the number of trees
Available
per person today
per person
is only
divided
28?
by the population we have in our country, so 28 tree per person.
Okay, so we're pretty low then.
Yes.
Right.
We have.
Right.
So I have a very important question about countries in general. When I was in, I think, 9th standard, my teacher showed me a TED talk of this person. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was, I think, a representative from Bhutan.
Okay.
And he was talking about the importance of what you're talking about, but in a very more general way.
Yes.
And he was saying that Bhutan is not the world's first carbon neutral country, but it's the world's first carbon negative country.
Yes.
Can you please tell us what exactly does that mean?
Yes. So it is like that. If I say, if as a Indians, we can plant, from tomorrow only we start an initiative and we plant more and more trees. And at some point of time, if it becomes like, suppose 100 trees per person.
Yeah.
So then there are 20 trees extra per head. So that is like, we are offsetting more carbon.
Then we are emitting.
We are emitting. So that is carbon negative. So net zero is कि हमने जितना कार्बन एमिट किया था अभी के केस में we required only 80 trees हमने 80 प्लस कर दिए will be eligible for net zero. अब हमने अगर 150 लगा दिए 100 लगा दिए then it will be carbon negative.
So why is it exactly that Bhutan? I understand that there are certain different circumstances in Bhutan than in India and other big countries.
Yes.
Why did they achieve it and why can't we achieve it?
So it's just about focus. They focused on this, the practices they have followed. In fact, Abhi like recently, the daughter of their king has born. So then also they planted a tree. So those practices, they have some things.
So on every occasion, they are planting trees.
Yes.
And where do you think, does our government do anything for this apart from what your initiative is doing?
Yes, it is. We are also doing this, and like we also have yes, government is also promoting a lot. Just say last year, Maharashtra government also announced that they are going to plant 33 crore trees in Maharashtra, and there is a Aravali belt, जिसको कि green belt बनाने के लिए अभी recently they announced this. So yes, government is doing that, but of course we have to contribute more. And सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट लेवल पे या बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लाइक इन COP28 many bigger name like Adani One, Reliance, RPG Group, everybody has taken pledge to plant millions of trees. But सिर्फ उन लोगों के काम करने से it will not be possible. It is something to be in our system and it has to be taught like from our childhood कि we have to plant more and more trees and like we have to.
It needs to be a citizens' initiative.
Yes, इसको एक मतलब नॉर्मल इनिशिएटिव बनाने की जरूरत है कि लाइक वी वुड रिकमेंड एवरीवन कि आपका जो भी ओकेजन होता है इट्स योर बर्थडे इट्स योर एनिवर्सरी इट्स व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू गिव टू अदर्स जस्ट प्लांट वन ट्री every click you are doing every shopping you are doing just plant one tree to offset that so if we start living in that way then it's possible of course and for any initiative we can't only go by the government या फिर big organization. Each and every person should have played the role to achieve that goal. Then
wonderful.
only it will be possible.
Okay. I have a question about some questions about a very popular person. He is my inspiration genuinely because of everything he's doing. His name is Elon Musk.
Okay.
It's okay if you're not too aware of too many technicalities. I do not expect too much of that. But before we get into electrical vehicles, I want to ask that where do you see us going as a planet in terms of all this global warming, climate change, because of pollution or whatever other things that are coming? Do you ever see us leaving Earth as a personal opinion and going to Mars?
So what I would say is, देखो अभी हम caves में वापस जाके तो रहना शुरू कर नहीं सकते. We can't stop commuting.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll see it as a positive. Whatever we are doing, we are growing and we are evolving more and more. But of course, हम जितनी भी activities कर रहे हैं, in parallel something different is happening. Like one of the major thing is carbon emission. Due to this, our climate change and all those things are happening. So as like when I was in 7th standard, my teacher asked me, and he asked me one question. He took a line on he draw a line on a board, and he asked me, now you have to make this line small, just don't by rubbing it. So how you will do that? So do you have any answer? So it's just by draw a bigger line. So the thing is, अगर मैं ये सब नहीं रोक सकती हूँ, I should have planned more and more things. I should have contributed to more. I should have made my lifestyle more sustainable to achieve this and to stop whatever is happening at that side of the thing. So suppose EV is one contribution to that, because अगर आप पेट्रोल से चल के आ रहे हो या फिर इन व्हीकल से आ रहे हो, आपको जो ऑयल माइनिंग एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, दे आर ऑल इमिटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ कार्बन. बाय ईवी व्हीकल ऑफ कोर्स अगर मैं अभी इतना जनरेट कर रही थी तो अभी मैं उसके कंपैरिजन में बहुत कम कर रही हूँ, बट स्टिल समथिंग इज देयर ऑफ कोर्स, बिकॉज इन एवरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग देयर इज अ कार्बन इमिशन. जब भी आपके मशीन्स जलते हैं, एनीथिंग इज हैपनिंग लाइक इन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ एनीथिंग, एनी स्मॉल like these clothes, whatever we are wearing, so it is there. But what we can do is we can plant more and more trees. So matlab our earth will also become a very climate friendly and sustainable in that way. And what a good thing about tree plantation is, it's just not only helping in carbon sequestration and make it in carbon neutral.
It has so many other benefits.
Yes, so many other benefits to the climate, to biodiversity, to animals, and to like farmers, social impact. There are environmental impact. So everything is there.
So our Prime Minister had given a small goal, if I may, I think couple of years back, regarding saying that India will be carbon neutral, I think by 2070.
Yeah.
Do you think we are close to achieving that target? Do you think we can achieve that target by then?
That's another 45 years.
Yes, we can. Because like right now, people are getting more and more aware of that. Yeah. We have to do something towards the environment. In fact, after the COVID especially, people are more aware about their health, about the environment, and of course if we talk about the corporate level and the government level, of course, because as I already said, in COP28 many organizations already took a pledge about like planting millions of trees to make their organization carbon neutral. And in somewhere like it's under draft as well, there is something carbon credits also. So maybe in future if we are start practicing them, so it will also help to reduce more and more carbon the companies are generating.
Okay,
great. So you mentioned that there are 3 to 4 ways in which we can negate carbon output. One is plant trees. One is that naturally the oceans of the world are producing algae, they are the biggest negators of carbon. Then there are also modern techniques in which you can capture the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere through mechanized ways, and then dump that waste in a particular zone. Are there any other ways other than this, or these are the only ways?
So
generally
these are the ways. And other thing is we can opt for the sustainable lifestyle. So will help to reduce the carbon emission.
What's a sustainable lifestyle?
Sustainable lifestyle, like maybe he mentioned about EV. We can do that. Like if like more vehicles are toward that, and if you can say like we can use more solar panels for the power generation. So in that way, our emission will be reduced.
Small things.
Yes, small things.
Right. So also you mentioned about there are different techniques of planting these trees.
Yes.
And you mentioned a word called, I think, the Miyawaki.
Yeah.
So can you explain what is Miyawaki and what are the different other techniques that we can use?
Yes. So there are multiple methods like what we are practicing as Grow Billion Tree to plant trees. So one of them is Miyawaki forest. So Miyawaki forest, it's a technique of dense plantation. So it's a revolutionary approach for Afforestation, and in that we are planting say 3 to 5 trees in the 1 square meter area. So per square feet actually. So when we are planting those trees very close, they tend to grow 10 times faster and 30 times denser. So it's a method, and this technique is conceptualized by Japanese botanist Dr. Miyawaki. So उसमें हम क्या करते हैं, different species उठाते हैं, उनको हम एक साथ लगाते हैं. So what happened is, एक तो वो height में बढ़ते हैं and they have the fast growth because everybody wants to take the sunlight. So and उनका एक ecosystem और create होता है जमीन के नीचे roots का. तो they'll help, but the bigger plants help the smaller one to have the nutrition, to have the water from the, in that way they are able to take care of other plants as well. So it's a dense plantation, so it will be good for urban forestation, because if you have a very less land and in urban areas बहुत सारी ज़मीनें तो बची नहीं है because it's a concrete jungle right now. So we can do Miyawaki forest there, like in Ahmedabad, in river, like a riverfront जो पूरा है उसके उधर Miyawaki forestation has been done. It's like that. And other techniques also are there, like we are helping, like we are trying to convert some forest land into a biodiverse land. So what is happening is, एक forest land जो होता है या फिर एक suppose dumping yard है, so we have to clean that, we have to process the soil, and we have to prepare that land for the tree plantation. After that we planted multiple species there, जो भी, and we always make sure कि we should, whatever technique it is, the plant species should be going to be the native species only, because that's the whole idea, to generate the biodiversity. So जैसे forest land है, we'll plant trees, so वहाँ पर by the years biodiversity has been generated. कि if you can go there, so we have seen those drastic changes, like there is a site in Pune only, Oldie Kanchan area, जब हमने वहाँ पे plants लगाए, in a year or two we found out multiple variety of butterflies there, and that's the parameter how you calculate the biodiversity of that land. Because जब वहाँ पे native fruits, native trees आ जाते हैं, तो native जो birds हैं वो आके फिर घोंसला बनाते हैं, फिर वो native birds और वहाँ पे जो insects होते हैं उनको खाने के लिए वहाँ वाले birds आएंगे, तो it's a cycle of nature. So in that way, and जैसे we have found hares also in that area after this jungle has been made. Peacocks are there, because peacock कैसे होते हैं, वो पेड़ पे नहीं रहते,
life
वो
returns.
हाँ, life returns to that land, to that native, and उससे क्या होता है, आपका climate fixing होता है, आपकी soil fixing होती है, like all the climatic conditions, rain and water table.
Naturally they come back.
Yes, naturally they come back, and naturally the cycle fix itself. It's like that.
So a lot of our cities today, like urban jungles like Pune, Bombay, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Delhi, they are all concretized.
Yes.
And all of them during the monsoons go haywire. Where, we saw in Pune 3-4 days ago where it just rained a little bit for 2 hours and traffic was disrupted. There was flooding everywhere. There's no way for the water to go anywhere and all that. And I can't understand that, the solution is so simple that it's so odd. That all you have to do is plant trees to, get rid of all these problems.
Yes.
So, is there a method by which we can plant trees in concrete jungles? That is where I'm trying to figure out, what can be done there. Like if you're going to go and plant these trees outside of the city, it's not going to help the city. It's going to help the environment around the city. But inside the city, there's still chaos. So are efforts on by scientists or by people or by, climate change activists, etc., who claim to be, doing so much, but when the solution is so simple, why can't they do it inside the cities? Like what's stopping us from planting trees in concrete jungles?
So yes, there are two things. In fact, जैसे like we have society lands, concrete jungle होते हैं, but there is a mandate of government कि जब भी आप क्योंकि land man ratio तो same ही रहता है. So if you are going in a vertical, you have to spare some land for like common land.
Like a green area.
हाँ, green area. So there we can do like the plantation, maybe we can use Miyawaki technique because it's a dense plantation, तो ज़्यादा बड़ा जंगल होगा. So एक तो अगर आप city के around कर रहे हो, because as a agroforestry it will happen. Of course, till some extent it is going to fix the environment.
Correct.
And of course, there are places in city itself where if we take care, we can create the smaller jungles and all. So it will help us to fix the climate of that city also in that way. So there are spaces available, and in fact every society have that ground. So along with the landscape work, we can have some more bigger trees also there. So in Pune there are many places. If you can, and I had a very good example. If you can visit any cantonment area, that is quite peaceful every time in any city you go. That is like 2-3 degree every time. It is cooler than the outside that area with every city, whatever city you choose. So in that way we can have
the trees.
Yes, it's the trees only.
Right.
Because in that area also the transport is there. वहाँ भी सारी चीजें use होती हैं, but it's the tree.
So you mentioned a very unique technique which not a lot of people know about. It's called the Miyawaki technique. Are there any other techniques to rapidly plant so many trees?
Yes, there are, and in fact, we are majorly focusing on that. So one of them is agroforestry.
Okay.
So what is agroforestry? Agroforestry is something when, like besides our normal crop, we are doing a tree plantation as well. Then it comes under agroforestry. Okay, it's about forest. Whenever it is
Yeah.
trees, it's about forest. So what we do is majorly at Grow Billion Trees, we are planting trees with farmers. So उसमें क्या होता है, farmers के अपने land होते हैं, they have the periphery, they have the free space in between. So we suggest them according to their area and according to their need, whatever tree species, being timber or being fruit plant, they want to plant it there. So we help them with because farmers के साथ क्या है, they didn't have initial income to plant fruit trees, and they didn't have the ability to serve that gestation period. क्योंकि अगर मैंने सिर्फ फ्रूट ट्री लगाया तो it will going to give me fruit after 3-5 years. So उस टाइम तक मैं क्या करूंगा? So उनको अपनी खेती तो लगातार करनी ही है. What we help them is, ठीक है, with the initial funds, and कि आप अपनी खेती करते रहो. तो initial funds हमने दिया, and we help them plant a tree, and we help with the drip irrigation also if requires, and all over the water management thing if they require in that area. So we help them with all those things. तो वो अपनी खेती करते रहते हैं, जिससे कि उनको 25 से 30 हजार सालाना प्रॉफिट मिलता है, वही जो 4 बार करके. बट विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस फ्रूट ट्री, जब 3 साल बाद ये बड़े हो जाते हैं, विद एनी फ्रूट ट्री जो उनको पूरा पूरा ईल्ड मिलता है, उससे उनकी 1 साल की इनकम 75,000 तक पहुंच जाती है. So it's the help from them as well. And we are like following a very very good what you can say practices for this is, जैसे in Madhya Pradesh we are doing projects and we give them it's called पोषण वाटिका. So उसमें हम क्या करते हैं, जो ये सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स होते हैं, उनकी जो लेडीज होती हैं, दीदी जो होती हैं, उनकी 15 से 17 लेडीज को हम एक पीस ऑफ लैंड जो कॉमन लैंड होता है वहां पे वो असाइन करते हैं. एंड हम उसमें उनको सपोज जितने भी न्यूट्रिशन वैल्यू वाले, सपोज ड्रम स्टिक है, नींबू है, या फिर आम हुआ, या फिर बाकी छोटी चीजें भी कुछ कुछ जैसे श्रब्स वगैरह हुए, द किचन गार्डन एंड द बिगर ट्री एज वेल, वी हेल्प देम टू प्लांट दोज, वी फंड देम फॉर दैट. एंड उसके अंदर वो लोग सारे लगाते हैं, बिकॉज इन एमपी दैट इज लाइक मोर ओवर ट्राइबल एरिया. तो वहां पर बहुत ज्यादा केसेस एक तो एनीमिक होते हैं, लाइक आयरन डिफिशियंसी बहुत ज्यादा पाई जाती है. एंड देयर आर मेनी प्लेसेस इन मेनी ट्राइबल एरियाज जो कि उनके पास ये फैसिलिटी नहीं है कि वो मार्केट जाएं और रोज सब्जियां खरीद के लाएं एंड फिर वो ग्रीन से वेजिटेबल्स एंड यूज करें. तो मेल न्यूट्रिशन इज लाइक बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं जो इस चीज से वहां पे परेशान रहते हैं. सो टू हेल्प देम वी मेड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पोषण वाटिका, जिसमें हम जितने भी हमको रोज डेली यूज में आने वाले प्लांट, ट्रीज, किचन गार्डन एंड जो जैसे नींबू हुआ या फिर ड्रम स्टिक जो न्यूट्रिशनल वैल्यू भी देते हैं आपको, वो हम वहां पे लगवाते हैं, वो टेक केयर करते हैं, एंड देन दे कैन यूज दैट प्रोड्यूस टू देयर होम्स एज वेल. सो इनफैक्ट उसमें हम ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं कि उसमें हम कई बार ऐसा भी करते हैं टू हेल्प देम कि कुछ कुछ ट्रीज जैसे टू सेव द वाटर एज वेल, कुछ कुछ ट्रीज हम उनके घर के आसपास भी लगाते हैं, ताकि एक तो जो भी आप घर में जो भी आपका बायो वेस्ट वगैरह जनरेट होता है उससे उनको न्यूट्रिशन भी मिल जाता है, जो भी आपका पानी जनरेट हो रहा है बर्तन धोने से या घर के हाउस होल्ड वर्क से, वो उनको पानी मिल जाता है. इन दैट वे दोस ट्रीज सर्वाइव एंड दे कैन हैव like they can use the yield of those plants. So one is Poshan Vatika in Maharashtra only, here near Pune. We did one activity जिसमें हमने क्या किया था, ग्राम पंचायत के साथ मिलके we did a tree plantation and we helped adopt 4 tree per women in that village. कि जो ये 4 ट्री लगे हैं, she is going to adapt that. And suppose if it's a timber tree, तो timber tree आपको लगभग 20 अगर 20 साल में 15 से 20 साल में आपको 40 से 70 हजार का इनकम देता है. उसके बाद जब आप उसको कट करते हो, so we are मेकिंग देम अवेयर कि अगर आपके घर में एक बेटी भी पैदा हुई, अगर उस टाइम पे भी आप एक ट्री लगाते हो, तो जो वो बड़ी होती है उसकी शादी के टाइम पे यू कैन हार्वेस्ट दैट एंड यू कैन यूटिलाइज दिस एज योर प्रोविडेंट फंड.
Wow.
But it's not that like no. So we did that, and there is a concept of like farmers के साथ तो already we are helping them to improve their income. So in that way these are the 2-3 and of course we are doing it with community land as well. तो हर गांव के पास ना एक उसको गोचर कहते हैं हिंदी में, एक कॉमन जगह होती है जहाँ पे उनके जितने भी जानवर हैं वो उनको चराने के लिए लेकर जाते हैं या उनके रेस्ट के लिए. So वी टुक दैट प्लेस एंड वी हेल्प देम। तो उसमें हम क्या करते हैं, वहाँ की कम्युनिटी को इन्वॉल्व करते हैं, वही सब लोग मिलकर हम गड्ढे खोदते हैं, हम खुद पेड़ लगाते हैं। तो उससे क्या होता है, एक तो हमारा अटैचमेंट होता है उनके साथ और हमें पता होता है कि ये हमको ही फायदा देने वाले हैं। वी आर एजुकेटिंग देम कि भाई अगर आप ये पेड़ लगाते हो तो इससे आपके आसपास की जो सॉइल इरोजन का इशू है या फिर आपका वाटर टेबल अप होता है, ये सारी चीजें होंगी। या फिर जो पॉलिनेटर्स हैं, बर्ड्स हैं, क्योंकि उनके खेतों में जो पौधे लगे हैं उनके लिए भी उनको पॉलिनेटर्स और ये सारी चीजें चाहिए। तो दैट इज गोइंग टू बी फिक्स। तो जस्ट कम एंड टेक द इनिशिएटिव। सो हम वहां पे लगाते हैं एंड देन वी क्रिएटेड अ न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट, सोशल फेंसिंग। उसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे हमने इस पहाड़ी पे एक जगह पे लगाया, सो वी आस्क्ड, जो भी ग्राम पंचायतों की जो मीटिंग्स होती हैं वहां पे फार्मर्स को, कि अब इस लैंड पर जब तक ये छोटे हैं टिल 1 ईयर अपने जानवर वगैरह आपको लेके नहीं जाने हैं, अदरवाइज वो जाएंगे तो वो खराब हो जाएंगे। सो फेंसिंग का हमारा खर्चा बच जाता है। इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ अ सोशल फेंसिंग। 1 साल तक आप उस लैंड को ऐसे ही छोड़ दो, बाय द टाइम ट्रीज get bigger,
then you're free to,
then you're free to go and then you are utilizing that land as well. In fact, last year only in November we met one person in Rajasthan, so Lakshman ji, so he got Padam Shri I guess this year, last year only. So लापोड़िया में रहते हैं वो। सो ही स्टार्टेड हिज जर्नी व्हेन ही वाज 15 years old I guess. So वो एक एरिड एरिया था, वहां पे पानी नहीं था। नाउ ही जस्ट ट्राई टू कंजर्व द नेचर। सो इट इज बीइंग सेड दैट कि नेचर को अगर नेचर की तरह से उसको डिस्टर्ब मत करो तो नेचर कैन फिक्स इट्स ओन साइकिल। सो एवरी स्पीशीज, एवरी ट्री स्पीशीज या फिर वहां के जितने भी जानवर हैं सबको दे स्टार्टेड टू प्रिजर्व, लाइक दे आर नॉट अलाउड एंड दे मेड अ रूल कि अगर किसी ने भी इस रैबिट को मारा तो ही विल गेट सम लाइक पनिशमेंट, कि आपको 1 किलो गेहूं लाके देना पड़ेगा और समथिंग लाइक दैट। सो दे प्रिजर्व द स्पीशीज, एनिमल्स जो भी हैं वहां पे, एंड मेजरली दे फोकस्ड ऑन द वाटर टेबल ऑफ दैट लैंड। सो उसके लिए उन्होंने बहुत सारे देयर इज अ बांध टेक्निक, उन्होंने वो गड्ढे खुदवाए और सारे काम किए। सो बाय द टाइम इन लास्ट 30-35 ईयर्स वहां का जो वाटर टेबल है वो ऐसा है कि वहां के कुओं से पानी अभी ओवरफ्लो होता है। तो नासा गाइस कम देयर टू स्टडी हाउ इट has happened. So in that way, via tree plantation, with this all these water management and preserving the native species, क्योंकि native species के लिए भी you have to do the native tree plantation, क्योंकि उनको birds को वहाँ पे घोंसले मतलब अंडे देने होते हैं, and जैसे जो भी
the whole ecosystem has to be restarted.
Yes, so it happens and it does
and
well.
It's so simple that all you have to do is plant native trees there. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Right. I find it so odd that we live in a world where there are 3 kinds of broad species. I would say, there's humans, then there's the animal kingdom,
yes,
and then there's the plant kingdom. In the animal kingdom, I'm including the water, the species, the fish, etc., everything, the oceans. But these two, the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, are not messing up the planet.
Yes.
It's only the humans. And
yes,
if we talk about Vastu, generally Vastu just means, in layman's terms, living in harmony with your environment.
Yes.
Which is something that we are not doing.
No.
We are the ones who are devouring all the resources, depleting them, even hoarding resources. So, and the answer to all this is so simple.
So simple.
And so odd.
In fact, if you took any of your Veda, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, everybody says something about the tea. Gita.
Right.
सारे उपनिषद और हमारे वेद बोलते हैं आप पीपल लगाओ, बरगद लगाओ, इनकी पूजा करो। एंड द टर्म लाइक इस टाइम पे इसको धर्म से जोड़ा ही इसीलिए गया था कि एवरी हाउस होल्ड, बिकॉज उस टाइम पे हमको ये समझ में आता है कि एवरीथिंग इज रिलेटेड टू धर्म, ये पूजनीय है तो जस्ट डोंट कट इट और डोंट डू एनीथिंग टू दैट। सो पीपल बरगद लगाओ, इसकी पूजा करो। सो देयर इज अ वट सावित्री, देयर इज अ वट पूर्णिमा, एवरीथिंग इज लाइक डिफरेंट थिंग्स आर देयर। तुलसी, इट हैज सो मच ऑफ मेडिसिनल वैल्यू। हर घर में एक तुलसी लगाओ, तुलसी को कभी कोई नहीं मारता है क्योंकि हमने उसको पूजनीय बना रखा है। एंड इनफैक्ट like there are plants related to vastu as well as you are saying. आप शमी की पूजा करते हैं, अब आंवले की पूजा करते हैं। So सारी चीजें कोशिश तो की गई है ancestors के साथ कि हमारे उसमें डाले जाएं। In fact, I just remember the 2 plants. They are not trees, but like if you go and see the nature, it has many surprises. There is a tree called Brahma Kamal. So why it is called Brahma Kamal? Because विष्णु जी की नेबल से जो कमल उगा था and उस कमल से ब्रह्मा का जन्म हुआ था. It is said in the mythology. Right. So that's why it is called Brahm Kamal, and that is सो ऑस्पिशियस प्लांट वो 12 साल में एक बार
एक
फूल
ही
देता
बार।
है, और जिसके घर में उगता है तो इट्स लाइक कि इट इज वेरी लकी और समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो एवरीथिंग इज लाइक आर एंशियंट मेथोडोलॉजी एंड जितने भी हमारी ये ग्रंथ वगैरह हैं, एवरीथिंग इज
And there's a
कोरिलेटेड.
lot of science behind it because they had the understanding, the basic understanding then
Yes. And
that
there
you know all you have to do is plant trees to
Plant
save this
trees,
planet, and then you don't need an Elon Musk to fly out of this planet and settle down on
Of
some
course,
other
of course,
planet
we can fix
and then
where we
replant
started.
trees there.
अभी अर्थ के बाद मार्स पे भी हम जाके यही करेंगे ना.
We'll have to plant trees
We'll
there,
have to
otherwise how are we
plant
going to
trees there.
survive?
How
Yeah.
will you survive? There is
It's
a movie na
insane.
Martian. What the
Yes.
first thing he had done? Started with the plantation because
Yeah.
खाना तो खाना ही है ना आपको. So वहाँ जाके भी you have to do the carbon neutral. Why not here only?
Right, exactly. So you mentioned about the Brahma Kamal and our ancient India and its love for plants, and how our scriptures also mention so many things about the importance of plants, etc. What other examples from ancient India can you give on such kind of?
So one more, as I already mentioned about Brahma Kamal, there is one more tree which is called Krishna Kamal. So Krishna Kamal जो होता है, if you can see on net, it's a very beautiful blue flower. So उसमें क्या होता है, नीचे 100 petals होते हैं, and that all 100 petal resembles to 100 corvas. फिर उनके बीच में, if you can check on net, it's like very beautiful flower. Passiflora is there, the name is, and पुणे में तो it's easily available. So बीच में उसके there is a kind of a bud thing, वो द्रौपदी को शो करता है. And there is a like after that there is a 5 green leaves or yellow one. तो they represent the 5 Pandavas.
Wow.
फिर वो जो बीच में जो बर्ड होता है उसके ऊपर 3 और होते हैं. तो that is the origin of the सृष्टि, ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश.
Wow.
एंड जो उसमें बीच में एक जो 100 पेटल्स होते हैं, तो वहां पर एक ना येलो सर्कल टाइप का बनता है. दैट रिजेंबल्स द कृष्ण जी का सुदर्शन
चक्र.
सो दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड कृष्ण कमल. एंड इनफैक्ट मतलब इसके अलावा भी इफ यू चेक रामायणा, उतने ज्यादा वन तो कभी किसी डिस्क्रिप्शन में आए ही नहीं है. व्हेनेवर देयर 14 महीने जो उनका 14 साल का वनवास था, सो एवरी पीस ऑफ लैंड और जिस भी वन में वो गए, और वहां के देयर आर डिफरेंट स्पीशीज, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दोज डिफरेंट स्पीशीज एंड क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस देयर आर डिफरेंट एनिमल्स एंड बर्ड्स एज वेल, व्हिच इज वेल डिस्क्राइब्ड इन रामायण आल्सो. एंड एंड इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द बोधि ट्री फ्रॉम बोध गया, जिसके नीचे बैठ के बुद्ध भगवान को ज्ञान की प्राप्ति हुई थी. एंड in fact some of the trees are still alive. If I would like to mention the kind of oldest tree, there is one, the great banyan tree in Kolkata. So it is kind of a natural monument right now, कि वो ऐसा लगता है कि एक बहुत बड़ा जंगल है, but that is only one tree. एक ही बरगद का ट्री है जिसकी अलग अलग जटाओं से वापस से एक नए छोटे छोटे पेड़ टाइप लगते हैं. So and you know the canopy of that tree is 4,500 meter.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yes, and it's like only 250 साल पुराना ही है. In fact, there is one another tree, Thamama, I guess is the name. It's in Andhra Pradesh, and it is recorded in the Guinness Book of World Record as well for the largest canopy. And that canopy is somewhere around 19,000 meter.
19,000 meters.
Yes, it is.
One tree.
Yes, and it is 550 years old. It is listed in Guinness Book of World Record as well.
That's crazy.
And the name is Thamama because it is said that the name of the person who planted that tree, that banyan tree.
Okay.
And in fact, there is.
I have one for you where you're talking about ancient India and these things, but there is also modern science where Newton discovered the law of gravity under a tree where an apple fell on him,
Yes,
an apple
yeah,
tree.
that's true.
So that's the importance of
That's
trees.
the importance of trees.
There's so much of importance that trees have given us laws of gravity.
Yes.
They've he rediscovered it. He didn't
Yes,
discover
yeah,
it.
rediscovered.
I mean,
Yes.
popular belief
But
is
of
that he
course,
discovered
like
it, but he
it has its
rediscovered it.
own contribution.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, there is one kalpvriksha available in Uttarakhand. It is said that Muni, I think.
One
I
of the
just forgot
rishis.
Yeah, one of the rishis, I'm not sure. He planted that tree, and it's a kind of a wish tree. If you go and ask a wish, it will be like fulfilled.
Acha.
It's like that.
Great.
So, since you've spoken about so many small things that we do every day that have some sort of carbon footprint and some sort of carbon emission associated with it, I'm pretty sure we have something with us now also, like all these lights, the cameras, the air conditioner. So how exactly do I calculate how much carbon am I emitting right now, and how do I make this one recording carbon neutral?
Yeah, so that's a very good and interesting question also, because we just launched 2-3 products surrounded to them. Like one is our carbon neutral event and one is our carbon neutral meetings as well. So how we can easily calculate it like that? Suppose for this podcast, I'm traveling from the different part of the city to here. So one person, if just I'm traveling by the car, it is per person per kilometer, the emission is 0.15 kg. So if I talk like I came here and I'll go back, if we roughly count it's 45 kilometers, then it would be somewhere around 45 into 1.15, somewhere
3-4
around
kilos.
5, yeah, like 5 kg you can
5
say.
kilos.
So 5 kg is that. Apart from that, there's a AC, there is a lights and all. So if we can calculate it, the whole thing, it is somewhere around 10 kg to 15 kg in that way. If we go on the micro level as well. So as we already know कि एक tree जो होता है वो एक साल में 20 kg carbon offset करता है. So if today I'll plant even one tree as well, so that will offset and make this meeting carbon neutral.
So to make this podcast carbon neutral, considering the amount of energy we have consumed or emitted in terms of carbon, like, the lights being used, the air conditioning being used, your travel to and fro to
Yes.
this place, etc.
Yes.
One tree is all we need to do to plant just to get this whole podcast made carbon neutral.
Yes. All
That's
these
just
three.
insane.
As like we 4 people are available here, and if I include the other team members, so मोटा rule is, thumb rule you can say is कि 4 लोगों के लिए for one event you can plant just one tree.
That's
it
it.
will make, yeah,
That's
roughly.
all we have to do. It's that
that's all.
easy.
Yeah, it's that easy.
All right.
And we are here to help you out to implement this, because if somebody didn't have know-how, didn't have it pace, and didn't know how to make
Yeah,
it.
I mean, a lot of people want to do it, but they don't know how to.
Yes, they don't know
And
how.
then they become, I mean, it's frustrating, right? You want to try and help, but you don't know how to.
And of course, like it gives you so much pleasure when you see कि ठीक है, अगर मैंने last year environment day पे when I planted the tree,
It's there.
It is there, and how it is impacting the environment, how it is helping that farmer जिसका कि income increase हुआ है. Although contribution, it doesn't matter how bigger and the smaller the contribution is, but it feels so good.
Right. I think this podcast has been great because what I learned from it, my takeaway is that I'm finding it genuinely bizarre and odd that it's that easy
Yes.
for us to save this planet, and all this hullabaloo that we see, on the streets everywhere, these climate change activists, etc., are chaining themselves, they're caning themselves. No, they're chaining themselves, they're caning themselves, they're doing all this. There are, the Gretas of the world, and there's so many other environmental activists who are, I think, misleading people. I would say that, it's misleading people where the solution is right in front of our eyes, where all we have to do as a human being is that it's a given that we are here to disrupt, and we are disrupting, we are emitting carbon, we are polluting, we are doing that in our daily lives. And to just negate that, all we have to do is just plant trees. Is the simplest way. And planting that tree also has so many other benefits to the general plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the whole natural ecosystem, even in increasing, livelihood of farmers who will plant them. You're also giving them jobs. You're also creating jobs for people who are planting these trees.
Yes.
So I think it's a win-win for
everyone.
All the races, whether it's the human race or the animal race or the plant race, etc. I think it's just a win-win. And I think that is the real definition of Vastu, of living in harmony with the environment. So please plant trees. However odd it may seem that the solution is so simple, it is the solution. So let's go for it, and let's just go crazy planting trees. And I am making a promise that as soon as this podcast is over, we are going to get on your app and we are going to plant as many trees as we can.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Thank
you and namaste. Thank you. Thank you so
Namaste.
much. Thank you.